find the segments.
Okay.
And then we just map it to some common thing.
Non-item and question answering is good enough.
It's perfect,
Yeah.
especially for the first year. Can I have a follow-on question? For the interactive challenge, is it expert novice or just novice?
Just expert.
I would also say so.
For the first year.
I mean, the other thing you have to consider at ACM Multimedia is that
Everybody's an expert. Yes.
well that
No,
but
they're an expert in something. They're not going to be an expert in that.
but you have a challenge session in parallel to 5 other things.
But we can make a challenge session in parallel to a welcome reception in the Guinness Storehouse if we wanted to.
No,
Yeah.
We have control.
we cannot
can
run this in the Guinness
advertise,
Storehouse.
Why not? We have control. Completely, 100%.
It
He's
makes,
talking about something else.
but also it makes
Who is
things
running this?
complicated.
It can be a dry event.
Yeah, drive.
In the
In the
Guinness.
Guinness Storehouse.
You're digging yourself deeper. You're
I have flashbacks of Bangkok when the drinks came away, you know.
We call it LRUI, lifelog retrieval under influence.
But was it Bangkok?
But if we
Drinks
want,
came early and,
if
No.
we,
it was
Greece.
Huh?
Greece.
No,
VBS.
Bangkok.
I don't know.
Bangkok had no drinks at for VBS.
Yeah, but Bangkok had no drinks in the
Right.
banquet either. It was a dry conference.
Yeah.
Bangkok?
The drinks came afterwards.
Yes. In the Irish pub.
All right, let's focus less on the.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, focus.
Please.
But if we want to get the community enthused, we have to do it as a general ACM multimedia something, right? If it's in a workshop in the Hyatt Parallel Hotel, 'cause it's the biggest room, and there's loads of other stuff happening at the same time, nobody gives a damn, it's just us.
But,
Right.
but the question was experts and novices, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
experts is good enough, I think.
Because experts
Okay.
will be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
now,
the
but
experts have to
okay,
be there.
I'm gonna ask you the question. Put yourself in the middle of the conference next year. Okay, there is a grand challenge session. We'll be involved in a grand challenge session somehow, right? How do we enthuse people to get involved next year if we don't have a session, an actual competition?
So 1 year later, you mean?
I want to. This is
2026.
2026. How do we get people involved?
I think in the past the VPS community was very much interested in all the edition competitions, like also AVR4P, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So-
you're,
But,
you're
The
talking about
problem
something else.
with
Yeah,
the
I'm
core
thinking-
BBS community
is
is
that
that it's
it's-
running out of capacity. So now there's
That's
already
true.
3 things per year, and people
Yes,
are
this is pretty tough.
Oh, I don't have the time to do
So
anything.
no, not only time. You have to keep in mind that in Europe, fundings are getting cut everywhere,
So-
including the Netherlands. So travel is
Can we-
increasingly issue.
Yeah.
Travel money, just like. And because of sustainability and so on, some universities are limiting even how many conferences. For you probably, like Sweden kind of started. Is it Norway?
Ireland's talking about it.
Norway has a couple lot.
We could also do it offline. I mean online.
We could.
Virtually.
But that would kill lots of the vibe.
Look,
So, Cathal, you would suggest the novice session to get new people involved in the community, is that right?
excitement.
Because I would suggest that we have just the expert session, but then we also specifically have like
Yeah,
maybe.
but the problem is if
demo
it's
session.
expert sessions, we're all gonna be not taking part in it, right? That's the
Yes.
problem. We've basically cut our community in half.
yeah,
by the
but
fact that we're all
somebody
here.
has to build the system anyways,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so they should.
So how
be
do we
there.
make it easy for people to build systems? What support do we give? The challenge with Tien's guys, for example, is that your guys have to work with one of the existing systems on top of it. How easy, if we want this to be big, how easy do we make it for people to take part? It's already a big data set, right? It's already difficult.
So there are 2 parts that you're talking. I think
Lots of,
you're
yeah.
talking. One part is how to involve new people to kind of join, and the other one is how to make it more appealing at the conference.
It's the same thing to me. If we make it appealing, we attract new people.
Yeah, so that
One is a subset of the other. Because so how to get people to do it at the conference? Make the same types of tasks in the offline and in the online thing. So then all the people who built something for the I had all my algorithms run against this. Might as well bring the intermediate results and slap some basic UI on top. So all the hard work is already done.
Right.
The former, I have no idea. Just make it an interesting task.
But I think if you allow novices, then it puts completely different requirements on the user interface.
Yes.
And
No,
I
this
think that's
even
what
more
is the
difficult.
Makes
add-on
things so much
work
harder.
that
Okay.
you don't
I can build something I can operate. I
Yeah.
cannot necessarily, if I need to build
Okay,
something
I
anyone
get
can
that.
operate,
Yes.
Can I just show the other one? So do we? So this is another one now. Is the really point to win that, or just
No.
to have enjoyable experience for everybody? I think probably
But-
second
Well,
one
for
is more important.
for ACM
Some people
Multimedia,
are very
I think many
competitive.
people would like to try those systems. If
What?
people come there, imagine seniors from our community. They are like gonna be, oh, they wanna sit there and try, and students probably, oh, what is this thing? Let
no,
me
if,
try.
if
you
you,
know, like-
if
This
you
is-
participate to a grand challenge, people will, the substantial fraction of the people who will participate to a grand challenge in the classical sense will be in it to win it, not to just have a good time.
I agree.
But what if the plan of that is there is the expert session in the actual challenge session, but there is part of the demo session
Yeah.
where
Yes,
all
this
the
is fine.
students participating
This is fine.
are there.
and a pseudo competition.
Or
I
like
would,
a
I wouldn't even
specific
frame it
area.
necessarily as a competition. I would suggest just having a sort of an open demo where people can try out the systems.
But not just like interspersed somewhere, but a specific
Yes,
area
yes,
of the
absolutely,
demo,
absolutely.
which is
Grouped
the
and
lifelong
ideally
challenge.
with the experts there to explain the systems and
But what I believe, what I think actually it's really fun also for novices that join there, colleagues, audience. You see, why this is very interesting. I think I noticed first time that kind of effect in Iceland in 2017. Jan Soborov came from NIST, and I don't think he's seen this for a while. You know, I think he was involved from early track wits, and his task was there, and yeah. So he was really, oh my god, I think we should make all benchmarks like this, you know, like this is like Olympics, you know, like but only for nerds, you know, and it was like, no, do you remember, like,
Remember,
But no.
Yes, but Trek
SIG-MM,
does still not do that.
That's
And I mean, he's still running track, so
The reason-
he could have if he wanted to.
the reason we're still here is because SIG-MM want to replicate VBS/LSE and ACM Multimedia in some way. So they want that
yes,
thing,
totally.
right? So we still have to put on that thing.
Only
And that's the
fancy
demo
or
session
shiny-
thing. And that's enough, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but it
it's-
has to be zero stakes. Because,
Yes, okay, fine. We-
Because if you stake anything, if say, oh, this is a proper competition at the flagship conference and yada yada yada, and then you rely on random people
No, that's
you've
the
never
problem.
seen. The participant with the system that
Yeah.
performed best in the expert system, in the expert thing, who's gonna lose the competition because they got a novice that did not understand the task, they're gonna be pissed.
Okay.
So this
Keep the
is
separate
So
prices.
let's do.
let's not do prizes.
not do it
let's
a
do
competition,
let's
yeah.
do evaluation in terms of look, we have clear parameters that we control as much as possible, and then we can argue this is a scientific benchmark because we can. These are the things we can measure. And the other thing is the visibility, community service, blah 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 event. Let's say, look, we do demo. Everybody who's interested can do the
Yeah,
demo.
fine. I'm happy with
Yes.
that.
And you
Every
can have more novices do that because you
Yes.
can just change after every
Yes.
task.
And
because
we make
otherwise
it-
You wouldn't change because if one novice has learned how to use the system, you want to keep them. But
we make it
there-
interesting by having a prize for every round for the best novice. Simple, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
this query.
candy.
Hey,
Piece of
congratulations, you get an Easter
of
egg.
candy.
Congratulations, you
Yeah.
get.
Piece
I
of
don't
candy.
know.
Piece
Yeah.
of candy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ali's painting.
Small, you know,
Then I'm gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
small whiskey,
Yes.
whiskey bottle.
Yes,
Something
exactly.
like this.
Or a bottle of whiskey every round. Whatever,
yeah.
doesn't matter.
what's the budget of this? A bottle of whiskey every round?
Unlimited. No, our aim here, right, is to get people enthused.
Yes.
And that's fun.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
Yeah.
at the right part of the conference, it exists where everybody is going to be.
So you know what you can do? I did it for my students.
Welcome
For example,
reception,
whenever
doesn't matter, something
you
like
buy
that.
a bottle of wine and you buy chocolates, and then you ask them, you know, somebody doesn't drink, somebody like, hey guys, the first one can choose, you know, like Moldovan wine, Georgian wine, or Italian, plus there are chocolates, you know. You choose what you want, so somebody picks.
Right.
And then hopefully by the next year, we have more people in to take part.
So one thing you could do is if you start with a preparation session where people just practice.
Yeah.
Then this happens. You know, you could even do the novice session at the
Welcome reception and
welcome
banquet.
reception. After that, there is the competition.
Yeah, fine.
By that time, you will, that gives you pressure to debug things. You have some practice. Get to see some types of tasks. You have to create more tasks. That's the disadvantage, but otherwise you could recycle them.
Yeah.
But that might bring people, if they have seen this at the reception, to come.
Yes, and the following year, the data set remains the same for the second year, and maybe we provide some baseline retrieval system that people can use via an API to make it easier. By the way, want to do this yourself? There's an API written by Bao.
I mean, there's systems out there, right?
Yeah.
There's at least half a dozen things that have been participating in VBS/LSC that
Yeah.
you can get from GitHub if anyone would ever bother to look at
Well,
them.
to make it easier, basically you would give them like a prepared data set for that system so that this is ready to use. And
Yeah, it should be made as easy as possible. Okay, have we decided?
Not sure.
Not
I
sure
personally-
about the
personally
exact logistics.
Would rather do expert session and then
Yes,
let
expert.
everybody try.
Yeah,
So why don't we do the expert session in the workshop?
It's also possible,
Yeah.
Right, expert session takes place in a workshop, right?
Wait a second. You talk workshop, grand challenge, and hackathon.
We're doing. It has to. The way to get this. Look, we're in charge. The way to get this to work is we make it do whatever we
But the
want.
grand
it to do.
challenge can't be a competition with the experts. And then
No, the grand challenge has got to be the asynchronous and the synchronous.
We were still
Associated
talking
with the
about
workshop, right?
Synchronous.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
So it's fine.
The grand challenge should also have the classical grand challenge aspect, as in you actually get to present your stuff with at
Yes.
least a
Yeah,
poster,
right.
Yes.
and there's
Yes.
a leaderboard
Yes.
and blah blah blah.
This
So
is
and all
good.
of this is
So,
happening beforehand.
With the grand challenge, there is a workshop that takes place before the grand challenge where you actually come and use your interactive
Okay.
system.
By workshop, you
Yeah.
mean an actual a co-located thing that happens in the workshop slot, or you mean a?
It's up
session
to
in
us.
The, Yeah, but
In the
it-
workshop
it-
slots
it
probably
change-
makes
it
more
changes
sense.
The logistics dramatically.
Yeah.
Because those are fundamentally, from a proceedings point of view, from a conference setup point of view, those are two different.
It can be a
things.
workshop that doesn't have proceedings, right? It's just an event. I don't.
No, but I mean, you're really talking about an extended conference session. right?
Yes, but that's not.
So it's kind of two sessions to the.
But the grand challenge track will have multiple grand challenges,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
this
This is
something
one
that
of the
will-
grand
This
challenges.
is this is one of the grand challenges.
That will get
but
treated
then it will
differently
be-
to everybody else. But,
That will presumably, well, that's the question, right? Is the grand challenge part different to everybody else, or is it just, oh, by the way, there's this second half to the event that is not technically part of the grand challenge, but is another thing that happens interactively?
let me turn a question around and say, let's say we get 3 grand challenges in. 2 are conventional. 1 is conversational search that requires an interactive element. We accept it, right? We don't say no.
So some grand challenges.
So it's the
if you
same.
look at ACM Multimedia grand challenges, there is this, well, I believe, longest running one. I don't know how they call it, social media prediction or something like that. It started with is it JD.com? I don't know who sponsored it. There is even significant money involved there, and there are teams. Does anybody know that one? Or?
Nope.
It's pretty large at AC Multimedia, and it's been running for like maybe, I will say, 5 to 10 years already. And they always have 2, 3, like they have a leaderboard somehow beforehand, so it's asynchronous. But also they have different ones. One is like social media prediction. That's like something like about popularity of the media, like mostly marketing type of task, And the other one is, I don't know, something, but they clearly have separate kind of scoring mechanisms and so on and so on.
Check.
I mean, the typical grand challenge is asynchronous, right? Yeah. Where you do all the
Grand
evaluation in
challenge.
advance
Okay.
at
Deepfakes
the end of
detection.
the session.
1,
AI
2,
yeah.
3,
No.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, there's a lot of grand
Plus,
challenges.
minus, check them.
Yeah, I think if you try to make the interactive part during the grand challenge track of the conference, it has 2 disadvantages. I think in the sense that you don't treat the challenges in the same way how you
No,
allocate
no.
the time budget. That's one thing. And the other thing is, as you said, you want to present leaderboard or results. You don't know that or just know it 5 minutes before. So if you do that in a workshop session before, then you could have these things, and maybe you do. I don't know. That's proceedings wise. This is a logistics question because if you might want to update.
We don't
the paper as
need
well,
to-
you know.
yeah.
But then logistically, it would be 3 independent things, right? Then you say, well, there is a classic entry into Grand Challenge track that just presents Grand Challenge things,
Yeah.
whatever. There might
This is
be
also-
a non-archival workshop that
Right.
happens on the day before the thing to actually do the interactive part
Yeah.
of the experiment. And there is a sub-session in the demo track
Yeah,
that
exactly.
has the things that
Yeah.
just opens
Yes.
this up to everyone. And then
Yeah.
it fits neatly
Yeah.
in all the categories the conference has anyway. I mean, yeah, with a bit of, but we can do that. But at least it doesn't introduce something fundamentally new. So if somebody wants to do this next year or the year after or whenever, it doesn't completely break.
Yeah,
the
and if we
format.
want asynchronous, we need to have an associated workshop. That's part of the proposal.
Also for synchronous, we need a workshop then.
Sorry, I mean synchronous. I mean synchronous. I mean synchronous.
Well, it doesn't.
Asynchronous doesn't need it,
doesn't even necessarily need to be a proper workshop
Right.
with
Like it won't have
separate
publications,
calls
will
and-
it?
Yeah. It's still part of the Grand Challenge. We just essentially need to have a room booked during the workshop part of the conference, so it doesn't interfere with.
I think it, like using the word workshop is probably, we need to find another word that doesn't
I mean,
bring
it's-
confusion
it's
with
the-
other
It's
workshop.
the
with workshop.
interactive session.
Interactive
of,
session
But
of
LSC
the-
is
the
also a
challenge.
workshop.
LSC is a workshop.
Yeah.
Yes,
Only
but-
because ACM wouldn't let us put it in as an actual. We tried to get LSC as a special session, permanent special session, and there was pushback from ACM.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So
it,
but it's not a challenge. I mean, it's just
No,
a workshop.
right,
Yeah, a workshop.
yes.
But we would need publications.
Yes, but the
Okay.
publications would
Is
go
in a
into
Grand
the
Challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's more valuable.
Okay.
The workshop doesn't need publications; just needs a room.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing is, if you want to update your paper after the interactive session, then the proceedings would need to come after the conference.
Yeah.
right?
No, we can't do that. We can't. No, 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 no.
No,
We can't.
With MM, not possible.
Okay.
but
There's no need to do that.
but also for the Grand are all
For the
the
results, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So with
There could be an archive paper later on.
Well, if you know the location of the results beforehand, you could basically put it into any paper, live results.
Guys, how about
Yeah,
this
but
one?
if you want the proceedings available at the start of the conference,
Inter-
that the workshop would
Can
technically
we-
happen after.
how
Yeah,
feasible
but I'm
is
saying,
it
Yes, yes.
to actually replace those papers with upgraded versions? Talk very nicely to April.
Not needed. You know why not needed? We could do the same as you do for MMM, for example. And then after this is done, because kind of MM has this deal with Tom traditionally, we go for a Tom paper, kind of with everybody who participated as a, okay, you don't like but it's already
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tom paper with everybody who participated as an author, like it's gonna be paper with lots of authors, or you don't like that?
No, I
No,
think it's great. The only
we
thing
can-
is that we are already overloaded with the other papers, right?
Okay.
We'll have the results of the asynchronous run for the paper writing.
Yeah.
Right. So we have that. It's just the interactive element that's problematic.
I mean, what we can say is that a requirement to participate in the interactive
Is
part
not necessary.
Is to let me finish my sentence. The requirement to participate
point.
in the interactive part is to participate in the same subtasks for the non-interactive because then your stuff is going to be evaluated beforehand. And then also you can do by the way, we also do this live. And then it can still be, it's archived sometime, somehow, whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
I have one question. Do we need to make it synchronous? Couldn't we just do it asynchronously like DragQuit always does with the ABS task? ABS, yeah. Because it can be interactive also if it is asynchronous.
Well,
they have an interactive task, for example.
I mean, we have this system that is perfectly capable of running interactive evaluations asynchronously we just never used it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is there.
Yeah.
We could even do that.
It is more
There
interesting.
there are some. I mean, you're losing the whole visibility thing, but then
Yeah.
you can still move this to the demo session.
Yeah.
That would be an option. So then you can essentially run the whole thing beforehand.
Yeah.
You get your results back.
Yes.
You get your results back more or less immediately. You don't know how well you did in comparison to everybody else before everybody finishes, but you
Track
at least
style,
know
yes.
how well you did. I mean, Dres can do this.
And the results will be presented at the Grand Challenge.
Yes.
Yes.
Then we don't
Yes.
need to run a
Okay.
grand challenge except in the demo session, which is a fun
Yes.
thing.
And then it's essentially everybody who submits an interactive thing gets a free slot in the demo session if they want it.
Yeah.
People will be encouraged to do that because we can say, okay, there's going to be a best sub demo thing, whatever, for like a novice, something judged in some means to be determined, just to give people a bit of an extra encouragement to actually show up and show their thing.
Yeah.
And then it would also fit neatly into the timeline. We just need to have a trace instance that does this and tech support and whatever, because people cannot be bothered to do the OpenAPI correctly. But I mean, we have the technology in place to do this sort of thing. That would probably simplify this.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's just a demo session. Fine. In the
Demo
interactive.
session, but the competition
Well,
in
the
advance.
challenge,
yeah.
the challenge session, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
hang
then
on.
you just
The
have
challenge,
a-
is the challenge session the one that happens like 2 months early?
For example.
Yes,
No.
fine.
But
No, at the conference.
At the conference,
Well,
there's
it's
still
just,
a challenge
it's
session.
just a regular grand challenge session
Yeah.
that presents the
Yes.
results and
Yeah.
you discuss.
Yes, but
the
not an
story.
actual competition that's taking place in the grand challenge session.
No.
Fine, that's happened in
There's
September.
There's a probably before that
Yeah.
because people will need to submit their papers. So this is
right. Must be
some
before.
summary.
This time frame isn't great.
No, the time frame isn't great.
No, but what you
who
could-
needs sleep, right? It's
But
there's-
what you could do is like you ask for papers before describing the systems and just leave like a quarter page for results, and then people update,
For the camera ready, yeah.
update this for the camera ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Because that's what Trackbit also does.
Yeah. You update your scores, but then you don't see everybody else's scores until such time as you're at the event, which makes it more interesting to attend. Yeah. Okay.
You can provide like 10 sample queries.
So the one thing that I figured out from that discussion is that I don't know if we can deliver that, but I really wanted things to be more interactive, engaging.
It still can be interactive. And engaging would be the demo session.
But when you say demo, so there is a demo session at the.
There.
Do you want a separate demo session or within?
No,
the
if we
demo?
did a demo
within
session.
within the regular demo session,
But
logistics
then
to be
we have
determined.
to really then synchronize with the demo chairs because you know
That's
lots
okay.
of demos were rejected actually this year. They rejected like 3/4 of the
Yeah,
demos.
but we can
Yes,
reserve
but demos this year
You
was
understand what I mean? You have
somehow.
to say, oh, pending that you are accepted as a demo.
We'll be able to look after all of
They
that.
don't need to be accepted as
No.
demo.
No,
We
they
just
get a-
insert them into the
they
demo
get
session.
A free slot in the demo program, and the demo chairs will have to deal with it. Because worst case, we're just gonna give them. So I mean, the way this is currently kind of penciled in the program is that one room would be permanently set aside for demos and the interactive art during the whole thing. Worst case, we just say, well, no, one of these days the demo chairs don't actually get to decide anything. All the demo slots are already taken up by this, and the rest of the slots are for the demo chairs to decide. But we can figure this out. Who are the
It
demo
might be
chairs?
good to
We
do
don't
that
have any.
anyway.
If we can decide that, then
Meeting and somebody else, isn't it?
Demo chair.
You? You're
No, you're
interactive
the
art.
interactive
No,
art chair.
interactive.
But it might be anyway good to have it like a fixed time slot for that, because
Yes. Yes.
also people have to be there,
I mean,
and you get more dynamics if more people are there at the
Yes.
same time.
And I mean, probably we will have a concurrent, a continuous slot for all the demos that
Yeah.
just goes through the whole program, and then just the demos rotate through. depending on how many demo submissions and whatever, right? To be determined. That room also works because there we have.
Is that the open space?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be the half of the big plenary.
Yeah. There'll be lots of people hanging around because it's beside the bar.
Yes, and it's where we would anyway stream the overflow from the room next door.
It's a very busy place.
Yeah, so this would work, and this would also have the best visibility, which is why
Yes.
I would also want to put the demos there, in contrast to this year where they were behind 3 rows of poster walls.
Okay.
So just one more question, just so we know that we covered everything. And the reason for not going with standard VBS/LSC format would be because we want asynchronous part as well. That's the main reason.
The main reason I think is that it's simpler in every aspect.
Okay. Don't know.
Yeah.
And it fits very well to the format that they have in the Grand Challenge. And
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it fits the format of the Grand Challenge. We would not force people to have an interactive system. They could choose what
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
You want to open a bit to more CV sort of crowd and
Possibly, yeah.
And there's not so much on-site stress
Yeah.
Yes.
because this
Yeah.
is always.
Yes.
Yes, there might be 1 or 2 other things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay.
This is definitely different at ACM Multimedia than it is at MMM or ICMR, which is
Who are our Grand Challenge chairs?
magnitude smaller.
Who are our Grand Challenge chairs? We better make sure we intercept them to say so they don't reject our Grand Challenge on the basis that it's too
I
big.
think it's been clear on this side.
Okay, fine. Okay, right. Okay, we're okay then.
think-
That's it. Good.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, we'll be. Okay, fine. So
some corruption, high-level corruption caught on camera. Very good, very good, very good.
no, it's not that.
No, it's called bribery. Sorry.
No, these people already understand how these challenges run, so they will actually be able to. No, because Min Triet takes part in LSE and VBS. He understands. Min Sundao understands. Who's one more person?
I don't know. I think only 2.
Werner is checking, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Graham is workshops.
Just finding the webpage is not particularly mobile friendly.
No, it's
because
not.
the
It's not
page-
going to take you. It's not. These things are not on the web page yet. We have a
Ah,
magic internal document that has all the names.
okay, next week.
Those are not published.
Oh, this
yet.
does not help.
We need a web chair. We need a web chair.
We don't need the web chair. We just need a backend to actually publish stuff to this.
So depending on where we wanna eat, maybe.
I'm happy that we've done enough. We can summarize this again tomorrow morning. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Figure out the hackathon then too.
There were more things on the agenda, but sure, whatever.
Hackathon.
Hey, tell us.
What was on the agenda for today technically was figure out also all the data augmentation things which would feed into the hackathon, plus all the collections for. Now we know the set of sensors we have. Now, what would we want to do
Next time.
for any future iterations, and how would people possibly think of could this be done? This is not necessarily something that needs to be discussed now, even though it was in the agenda, but then technically it was in the agenda for this morning. So,
So what does Castle 2 look like?
Yes.
So too.
Let's assume that Castle 1 has not been a disaster. It's been very successful. Except chicken. Well, with the exception of the second fridge, Castle was pretty successful.
So far, the second fridge was the biggest fail.
Yes.
You know what would be the best
Well,
thing? If we
I
kept it
realized the
outside,
brand is
outdoor.
called Hot Points.
Outdoor
Why
castle.
do we expect
No,
it to
man.
get cold?
All right. Okay.
I feel they did not understand this.
It's cold.
So-
for Castle 2, it would be great to have less of a focus on food
Yeah.
and preparation of food and logistics of food.
But that's what
Literally
brings us all together.
And
I feel like, I mean, it can certainly be an aspect. I feel like it's been exaggerated this time
a little bit
around.
too much.
It's perfect for the hackathon though.
Maybe
Yeah,
just
sure.
one dinner
So
per
if you-
day.
And then do
Once per
takeout.
day, and they do takeouts for the rest.
I mean, ideally, there would just be more people, and then
Yeah, more
you would
people
have
cooking.
Fewer people in per. You would have a smaller fraction of people involved.
More
in-
people. Bigger
Then-
house.
But then
Right.
the cooking organization is going to be messier with
Yeah.
the shopping
No,
list and
because
stuff.
then you would have
With the except-
people
yeah.
who are explicitly in charge of things, which we did not have. It's, oh yeah, everybody does something, and then what do you? But the people who do the shopping and the people who actually do the cooking are not the same people, and information gets lost along the way, and nobody knows what's going
But
on.
I think we did a good job, right? We had almost everything we needed. We got almost everything right.
Well,
It's just not
I would-
perfect.
I would
could have been
What are you
streamlined.
saying that we should do?
I would argue the whole thing was well done, but there's a comma in there.
I would say very well. Even.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cook for one
people
second.
didn't get the joke. It's fine.
I got it. It's okay.
So
Well done.
just as an example, how do we do it on a boat? Very light breakfast in a sense, spreads.
We could do
cheese,
lighter
and
breakfast and Irish breakfast,
Then
yes.
lunch is really cooking. Evenings we always do in a restaurant. So
If we had gone to a
You
restaurant,
are aware that this is not a boat. This has different.
the
bounds and
challenge is,
conditions.
if we'd gone to a restaurant every night, we would have added an extra 3,000 or 4,000 euros to the cost.
yeah, no, no.
Right? We couldn't do it on 10,000.
Right, right, right.
Take
On our own.
On our own budget, yeah. I mean, the other logistics here is there isn't a restaurant nearby that's
No. But that's why we chose this castle, because it was so far from everything. There's nowhere to go, right?
There is another. I mean, another option is basically if it's possible to add a couple of people who do some of the cooking.
Just do the-
explicitly.
More helpers.
Just do the cooking. So that would be one option.
Cooking helpers.
Yes. But
Hey, but
yeah, but-
guys, also that process you'll see later on is also valuable as a data. So people do
Absolutely,
something
of course,
together.
absolutely.
One
So
does
you-
this, another one does
The
that,
di-
another
you
one
do
does
not-
that.
you do not
There are other
want-
things you
The
upload.
disagreements as part of it is all part of the data set, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but the thing is that just the whole everybody does everything somehow and nobody's responsible for anything and nobody's in charge and nobody knows what's going on. Because
Okay,
everybody
I
does
admit,
everything.
if we had Alice here, we'd all be on time, right? Alice couldn't make it, right? We need an Alice
Possibly. We
with a
just-
clipboard going around
we
going,
just
Klaus,
need,
get over there. Right? That's what would happen.
So, basically, you're saying, yeah. So that's actually a point. You need a manager.
You need a manager.
Essentially, who's not
Yes, taking
Yeah.
taking care of
Of that.
of the logistics, of the
Yes.
details, of all the goings on.
Right.
You need a Jennifer to organise in advance, needing the Alice to organise when we're here,
Yeah.
or equivalent.
or something that floats over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But also that's maybe slightly less, emphasis on cooking and then some better organization. So that's a couple of points.
Yes, yes. And what about technical aspects?
But
2
actually,
years from now, maybe the hardware could be.
This wasn't too bad, right?
yeah.
It's not
Actually,
too bad.
I
I'm
thought
quite
it would be
comfortable.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worked really well.
Middle of the day, my head was hurting quite a bit, but it's getting better.
But
That was something else. That was the second.
Yeah,
piece.
well, I think the
No,
it's
but
a bit of a
yeah,
pressure
the-
cooker.
it's decent. It's not great, right? So
Yeah.
there.
No. And no complaints.
I've-
because
I've-
it's-
We were stuck with what we already
exactly.
happen to have
Yeah, no.
in a closet in DCU,
Yeah.
right? We didn't have the budget.
Exactly.
If ACM give us 20,000 next
Yes.
time or 30,000,
Yes.
sure, we'll do something much nicer.
Yeah.
We made it work.
Yes. Maybe just
40,000, 50,000.
Just one comment to what Björn said about the cooking. I think it's a good idea to have dedicated people cooking, but after
Not all the
thinking
time.
about it, I think it's very nice that we had here so many different
Mm.
dishes done
Yeah.
by different people, and we could look up them later on. And also, it's a lot about life, right?
Yes,
We
no,
have life flow.
absolutely. So
It's-
Improvisations.
ADLs.
I
Constant
would
improvisation.
clearly vote against like the catering aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it needs, in general, I mean, we had very little in terms of an agenda, which in some aspects is good, it gives people the freedom to do this. There needs to be more agenda, like in general, right? And people behind the scenes making sure that the agenda can actually happen, because now everybody who runs around doing things is also
Right.
so there's no behind the scenes
Right.
support.
You need a
for
production crew.
Yes, essentially, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of things, also for various setupy things, that just takes time and resources that we did not really have this time around. So essentially, if there were the option to do this with a larger crowd of people, in a larger location, it would probably make sense to.
But are you thinking, go back to the schedule we had from 3 months ago we didn't implement? That was, everything was half an hour blocks. And for this half an hour you're playing
Maybe
chess.
half
This,
an hour
But it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be half an hour blocks, but essentially really clear and strict assignments. As in, look, we have a workshop part. This is this time window. We have lunch. Lunch always happens at this time, which necessitates this time block.
I guess
before,
it's-
and it's those people. Those really know what they're gonna have. Right, everything there's like checklists and stuff.
Yeah.
This time is dinner.
Right.
This necessitates this.
we're not that far off it.
But basically,
But it
having
did not
somebody-
really. It wasn't really implemented like this because it's. Oh yeah, but let's do this an hour later. Oh no, let's swap these two things.
But I
Oh,
still
no,
think
let's do this.
that is actually okay, because we are still having our
Life is also
workshop.
chaotic sometimes, right?
Yeah, but that's
Now,
but this is not supposed to be.
if
like,
we
this
had
is
had-
supposed to well,
No, yeah.
If we had had an Alice equivalent here with a checkbox saying, okay, you have to cook now, it's time to cook, that would have been okay, right?
It's also means if you had somebody who could basically run off to the store, or
Yes.
drive off to the
yes,
store.
some
like daily,
some fixers
yeah,
essentially.
the daily basically.
Yeah.
So what do we need for tomorrow?
Yeah. Like if one of us had been one of us three had been a helper, not a
Yes.
participant, this was fine.
It's not
Or you
much
can learn how
of,
to drive.
but it's really there is somebody who's not part of the experiment who is running the show.
So we need a
That's
manager,
kind of the
right? We
main-
need a manager.
I think this
We
is.
don't need managers. We need normal people. Alex.
Yeah. We need somebody normal to manage.
Essentially, it needs a production crew. It needs a
Yeah.
director behind the
Right.
scenes.
Yes,
It's
yes,
actually
yes.
on top of everything that's
and
happening.
that basically has authority over the participants.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's kind of the
Yes.
when you're taking part in experiments and having authority, it's a problem.
And also, if there's no clear schedule, it is also difficult to coordinate things because then it's I need to take care of my email. I might
Right.
as well do this now because nothing's going on.
Right.
And then people disappear at random
yes,
points
yes.
in time because there's no coordination between
Yeah.
them. And also, if you say, well, now we could do this, and then but 3 people are missing. Okay, now then we can't, and then
Right.
it just spirals, right?
Then we have to, if that's the case, we have to release a schedule well in advance. So
Yes.
I don't. Vern had to go off for a meeting this morning
Yeah.
at about 10 o'clock.
Right.
That we have to know that can only happen at 11,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But that's just
But a person who has control of things, basically, there's going to be fairly minor things that come up. You have this extra meeting that wasn't really scheduled. You have one more meeting, and there's and somebody can basically adjust this, and then
Yeah.
the day before
release a print out.
release here's a new
We need a
schedule for
printer.
tomorrow.
We need a printer. I know. I thought about buying a printer.
Or need an information screen. That's
Yeah.
alternatively.
Okay, yeah.
That's a good.
An iPad to this.
So
But I think the key is to separate, out whoever is running the show, the producer, right, from the participant.
yes,
And
People, we did
So-
most of the things we were supposed to do, no?
I think we did really well.
so
Right?
I should,
We can
should
make it better.
Very clear that the helpers have been excellent.
Yes.
So this is not a judgment on them.
No, but I'm just like saying I expected a major disaster in all aspects, apart from an occasional camera failure that happened to some people we don't want to name.
Look,
There were no major disasters.
we were inevitably not going to get this fully right the first time.
No.
I think
Yeah.
nobody has run away. Nobody has.
No, literally, there was positive atmosphere all the time.
There was.
People
It was good
didn't,
fun, right?
You know, these social experiments you've probably seen on YouTube going wrong.
And part of the challenge was figuring out how to do this better next time. And
But I think this is a really good lesson. I agree with Luca on this part. I think that would make it more productive.
yeah, more people, bigger castle, and a manager.
So
But you know
Yeah.
what? This can be
I'm
also...
not sure about the more people as part of the experiment.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe 12
More
rather
helpers.
than 10.
Yeah.
Because you get more options with groups of 3 and 4.
Yes,
If you have
I mean,
10,
also
12
in-
people.
But if it
But
gets much larger, it
Yeah,
also adds
exactly.
more
the
challenges.
only
Yeah, sure.
the only reason why, can I add one point in, why we didn't have more helpers was because there's a training week on for some of our PhD students from the group who couldn't come, and Robin couldn't come because she moved house last week, and Leeting isn't back, and it was
And thesis.
Thesis. Two people handing up their thesis this week.
Yes.
This was why we missed. We actually wanted 4 helpers,
Understood.
and we bought we rented a house so that
But in any case, the role that you're describing would have been missing.
yeah. Oh, always yes.
So, and I agree that this is kind of a key.
We need
Yes.
that.
aspect of this.
And I mean, this is the
A coordinator,
yes.
Coordinate.
on-site coordinator.
And then somebody who basically has authority over the experiment, right?
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
it's like having a.
who sets the agenda, who
like-
says
yeah,
no, now
yes.
you do
It's
this.
a very similar problem in sports when you have a player coach, somebody who's playing on the field, they cannot manage. They need
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
on the sideline to run the show.
Yeah.
It's impossible to
Yeah.
manage on the field.
Coach.
Yes.
So
But even if you're a coach, you can run the sessions before, but you need somebody live.
I know.
Yes, but I mean, essentially, I guess this whole thing was much more ad hoc than it ideally would have been, which is fine. It was built with much less budget than it
Should have had.
has any right to work with.
Yeah.
For which yeah. So far so good, right? So all of this, yes, absolutely. But I mean, it's very much I mean, also more people, also more activities. More activities in the sense of, yeah, we kind of try to make it work by, what can we get? Oh, we can get a
Right.
few things to put stuff together. Oh, and we can get painting supplies, right? It was literally like that. It's not a
yeah, it's more planning as well. More
top-down, thought-out. It's really more of can we throw more activities at the thing to make it more interesting, to make it.
we
more
should have a
diverse.
laptop of copyright-free movies.
Right.
We thought about it, we got some, but we never set it up. Right.
Right.
So there's lots of things
Same
to
thing
fix.
with music.
Music,
I
yes.
guess, you know,
Maybe,
Yes.
like a-
Yeah.
maybe
Kind of
longer
musical.
activities as well, because most of these activities can be done
Yes.
like in 5
Yes.
minutes.
Also, I mean, the weather was mostly not cooperating, so there wasn't a lot of chance
So-
to do outdoorsy
Right.
things.
Yeah.
This is just well.
But a house next time with a bigger garden that we can actually do things outside in.
A treadmill to
Exercise.
exercise so that people can be sane.
Sanity is overrated.
But the reason why we're here is because this was the only house we could afford.
Yeah.
We'll fix that part.
Right. I could have got you a Cathal, you'd have all had to pay for your own flights and everything else, right? So it's different, right?
Yeah.
We will have spent over 10,000 euros on this.
Despite all the
5,
things
6 days.
that you mentioned, I think
Yeah,
you went
yeah.
incredibly well
Yes.
so far.
So far so
many
good,
things
right?
to
I mean,
learn,
It's,
but
it's,
yeah.
it's, it's not nothing is on fire.
Like nothing has, nobody in our community has tried to do this before, right? The only time I've ever seen this is ubiquitous computing 10 years ago when they put some cameras up in a house and people went in and did some ADLs, right, for a weekend. This is far in excess of what that was.
Speaking of food, I think I have to go to.
Chop, chop, chop.
Check the potatoes earlier. They were still rock solid.
So what will we?
That counts.
What do we say?
But this is one aspect. The other aspect was we have the sensors we could get on short notice, mostly because you happen to have them lying around.
Yes.
This again, it worked. So far so good. We ran into some minor technical issues for various weird reasons. But this is certainly not the best setup to do this sort of thing, right? So I guess and this is not necessarily something we absolutely need to correct now, but maybe something to think about. Assuming infinite time and infinite budget, what would be the thing we actually wanted to do?
Right.
Because then we can go down from what
Right.
if this is actually feasible to do?
Yeah. And I mean, so there's a question: what if the price of admission, let's say, had been to buy some kind of equipment? So everything is paid for except you need to bring your own set of goggles or whatever. Right? Would people run into trouble with this?
Could be there.
Okay.
You have to check how you like them.
Yeah, I don't know that. Also, there's a different attitude if you've bought your own equipment and you're coming in, right? Like, I don't want to do that type of attitude. We have to keep it as a closed. Somehow, it's a community of people.
Right.
Like, inherently, everybody trusts everybody in this room,
Yeah.
and that's even fundamentally what we need to have to get this to work.
Right.
But if it was a €500 entrance fee, and you get to keep your hardware afterwards, I wouldn't have any problem doing that.
No.
But
Yeah, probably.
And I think probably it's easier than like paying for like the travel, because it's easier to squeeze in some hardware budget somewhere than
You can convince that it's needed for some other project.
than having like official requests
Yes,
for
yes,
travel and
yeah,
things like that.
yeah.
So
No, it's just like,
If there is
Yeah,
a
we
thing
could
out
do
there
that.
you can buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Things
No,
that we need to MacGyver it ourselves.
this is still
but it might
as
be
good an
much-
option as
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
ever going to
yeah.
get at the moment, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing
it's
else
just
better
something
than this.
to keep in mind,
Yeah.
so that if there is something that we desire,
Like, look at the challenges we had with this.
Yeah.
Battery life. We went through numerous different options for batteries. I have 36 GoPro batteries in DCU, right? We bought double of everything, right?
Right.
More. We even tried double A battery packs wired through a voltage regulator
maybe.
directly into it.
To cool them
That
down a
didn't
bit,
work,
yes.
right? We had to go with this approach. Then they were overheating. We even tried fans inside. There was a huge amount of effort to get to what actually you're wearing right now, which actually works. So even if we did this again in 18 months' time, there's probably nothing better than this still that we can actually do.
now there's only started to look already a very small thing which would be like a belt clip for the power pack, which is probably
Told you.
more convenient.
They were cheap.
Yeah,
They were €5
but
each.
A belt clip is probably not so expensive either.
You're also not using like.
But look, we'll collate after we get back.
Space in my pocket.
But I mean, this is still assuming, right? This needs to be done on short-ish notice with off-the-shelf hardware.
Yeah.
So, assuming this was not a requirement.
I mean, throwing in another thought. I mean, it's of course putting another angle to the data set, but it could also be interesting to just give everyone a different type of device. So you would have like a heterogeneous data set. It causes other problems, but it could also provide us with interesting.
I'm already getting dizzy.
But it could also be interesting to like see what you can get out of different
brain
types of
sensors.
devices.
You have to shave your head before coming.
If Graham was able to make it, he would have had a BCI cap. Yes.
BCI is definitely on the list.
We could do portable BCIs. Yeah, no problem.
Well,
Expensive.
No problem is well. There's
Financial
a whole,
problem.
A whole cascade of problems, but we could probably make it work.
We could put a BCI cap on everybody in the morning time. Now your
Not
hair
with
might
the time
get
budget we
pretty
have to
smelly.
do this, but, it's,
We'd need Graham Healy's equivalents, right? To set
no,
them
we
up.
just need Graham.
Right, okay.
He was
Not equivalent.
he was
Graham
not-
is on holiday this
he was
week.
not available this week. Otherwise, he would have been here.
Causing trouble.
Possibly, yes.
Sneaking out for pints. I would love eye tracking.
Is this slander already, or
It's Graham. It's Graham. Eye tracking on the glasses would be very
Eye
nice.
tracking would be very nice.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
What is actually the eye tracking experiment? I still don't understand.
Just
The
a
purpose.
That was
reading experience.
Just gathering data for a reading task. There's a demo at ACM Multimedia
What is the
later.
research question.
For the eye tracking.
There's not really a big research question here, as we had to use it because we brought the hardware to here.
You know what's also cool? I heard from our forensics friends what I kind of like these days is from data to activities. So basically, which kind of activities could you reconstruct from the sensors, like mobile, if you have it in a back pocket, in a backpack, in a front pocket, can you reconstruct the activity based on it?
That's basically what you can do with the Fitbit, right?
Yeah, but most people in criminal cases don't wear Fitbits, you know, like
Yeah.
most people have a mobile somewhere,
Yeah.
like in a backpack, in a,
Yeah.
which kind of activity can I recognize?
We could have provided everybody with a cheap Android phone and running sensors next time. It's another thing for our helpers to keep charge, but yeah, you can do that.
well, you will get an IMU stream. I hope.
Basically, we could because now one of the few sources of funding that's going to remain is going to be the security fundings. So that's another thing to think about. If we kind of make ourselves relevant to them.
Right.
So what do we say to somebody who says, I'd like to run this experiment myself?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Does anybody think we shouldn't have done it?
No, I think it's great. I would do it again.
I would do it again, absolutely. We will do it again. I'm assuming that we will end up doing this again at some point, 18 months or 24 months down the line. Somewhere. It doesn't have to be here, it can be anywhere. Klagenfurt, Edinburgh,
I'd prefer
Iceland.
18 over 24 because that would land it in summertime.
It doubles
Or
the price.
30.
It doubles the price of
Or
the...
30.
Like this is...
Or 30, right? Yeah, also fine.
This is €3,000 for the week. It's 5,000 or 6,000 in the summertime.
Right.
But it gives you the outdoors.
It does give you the others. Look,
Which are
next time we
much
go back to
larger.
ACM, we're asking for 20, 25,000. If they're happy,
ask
we
for more. They're gonna scope it down.
yeah, we asked for 35. We got 10 or something. Right.
Well, yeah.
But
But
we have-
there's a chance, I would say, that this is, if this is successful, then it's like.
We certainly have the right to go
possible
back and
get
ask for
a
more.
higher grant next time.
Yes,
I would
like I think we've done a lot with 10,000. So more they.
Because then you can be fairly concrete about what those extra funding would buy you compared to what
Yeah.
you would have now.
Yeah,
I think that's, for example, better weather.
would be
That's
nice.
gotta be worth. That's gotta be worth a few $1,000s, a few euros.
Quite expensive to purchase.
Yeah, I know.
But then we.
But I mean, but
make it
that
a
buys you
joint-
other activities, right?
You make it a joint geoengineering project.
Yeah. No, I mean you can at least buy the odds of better weather, right?
That for sure.
Yes. So timing, location combined to that.
Davos.
What about some device that
Klagenfurt.
people
in summer.
can manually
Would be
Yeah,
pretty-
I said if you want to set it like
before
here,
they move or something like that. Or
Yeah,
it's
so
some
that's for
adaptation
better weather.
around-
Manual mood or something.
Or
Yes,
it's
yes,
just
yes,
some
yes.
ground truth for
that's what I said. If
anything.
you want to set it
That-
like here, very secluded, we
I know,
could go
like-
to some.
With a director, we can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Remind us.
What
But,
you could also
but
have
skiing-
is a thing that
would
you
work. Activity
have
with-
everybody
with
gets a phone.
empty slopes.
Yeah,
Or
and
some,
you
some
want-
touchscreen
Yeah.
enabled device.
Mostly
There's an
it's
application
mostly-
running on this
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
lets you log things
Mostly.
that maybe even prompt you from,
So there's one
from
slope
time
where
to
you
time for,
Yes.
for
with the
things.
helmet to enter.
And gives you a web browser for looking things up that's not tied to your email account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
So that people can do
organism.
more things as
can be
well.
used for
Oh,
that
yeah,
stuff.
But for one
So
slope,
people
they-
kind of
helmet
wondering,
is
aha,
required.
what is it you
Did not
or-
okay.
I think we are going to hear at the conference a lot about. Hey guys, you
Yeah.
could have done this. Eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we get a lot of that.
People have,
You could have done. Why didn't you do it that way? Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
anything on the
Did we
agenda we
answer
still-
your question, Luca?
Yeah.
More or less.
More or less.
So what's up? We still have one more workshop tomorrow
Yeah.
to revise everything,
What time
understand
will we
everything,
do it?
and talk about the Rushdie. Talk about the
Is there a
hackathon.
task for somebody to summarize the discussion now?
We need to
For
write a
tomorrow?
SIGMM record paper.
We do need to write Sigma. I can summarize it now for tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
So just take.
I'll be a very quick summary tomorrow morning. Yes.
So what?
Yeah.
Alex's question I think was important in the spirit of what Lucas said. What time tomorrow?
What time for breakfast and then
Breakfast at 9.
okay.
Workshop at 10.
Okay.
No.
Yes, yes, yes. But for real, this
Oh no. Lunch. Because lunch
No,
is
lasagna.
okay.
Make lunch.
Breakfast at 8. No.
no breakfast.
Okay, light breakfast at 9 that doesn't require any cooking because we don't have anything left to cook.
We have plenty of cheese.
We have a lot of stuff.
Cheese board,
No.
We have
cornflakes,
we
toast.
have oats for those
We
who
also
want
have
to
like
sell.
Christmas pudding or whatever this is, and
Right.
cake-
Christmas
cakey
pudding.
things.
Christmas pudding.
How about everyone has their
but
own
second hour
breakfast
is-
in
is
any place?
covered,
and
right?
Yeah,
then
everybody make your own
nine
breakfast tomorrow.
So the
Nine
work,
workshop.
the lasagna, basically the second hour of preparation is inside the oven.
Okay, so why don't we do the workshop at that point?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I guess originally the idea was to prepare the lasagna today,
Yeah.
and tomorrow you
No,
could
but
just
I
put it
switched
into the
this
oven.
here.
But
What time for the workshop again?
Can it
Um,
parallel to breakfast?
So I think we're doing the workshop at noon tomorrow.
Immediately after breakfast.
No,
I would also like to have
One to-
breakfast at
one
then
to
I can
two?
do. Yes, yes, yes.
No, 'cause that's too late to eat at 2 because it's going to the smoked salmon at 3:30.
We finish it in half
Okay,
an hour.
so to.
Well, that's a
Yeah,
pasta
one.
cooking with.
I can have some more.
Could we have lasagna for breakfast?
That would be
No.
helpful.
Like a no breakfast and a brunch, which is lasagna.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to get food at
Oh my God.
9 o'clock, there's plenty of food in there.
That is an alternative.
Yes.
There's the pressure on me.
So if we have brunch at 11, right, followed by the workshop.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense when we go early already to the salmon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, salmon.
Can we
Salmon's
start
at 3:30.
preparing the lasagna maybe already
Lunch
at
at
8?
11 sounds
Yes.
Yeah, fine.
reasonable.
That's fine. And
Yes.
we can snack while you're doing this.
Yeah.
And we can have some cornflakes or
Pasta and.
reheated rusty or whatever we decide we want to do, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a breakfast followed by a salmon followed by steaks. And then we're back not too late tomorrow night because someone like Klaus has to leave at 5 a.m.
No.
Well, we'll see tomorrow what the weather forecast says. If it says.
Oh, the weather forecast is what I read earlier on.
Yeah, I mean.
110 kilometre per
Yeah.
hour winds,
Yeah.
sea breaching the coast,
change of
flooding,
lights,
disaster, Storm Daniel, whatever it's called.
That's Friday or.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday
And Saturday, okay.
So you have an idea if there's.
Cliffs of Moher, not so much.
Closed, orange level weather warnings.
Okay.
Look
How will
after.
it is?
That flights will be delayed or cancelled?
No, that's in the west, not the east.
How?
Okay.
How will it is?
Hovel.
Yes.
We can all go to the hovel, no problem. There's no toilet there, but that's okay. It's a hovel
There's
after all.
lots of trees.
Lots of trees.
Yes.
Excellent.
And we have toilet paper here, so.
Yeah. But then
Those trees, those,
traces of whatever you
those
do will disappear
trees
very
have.
quickly.
Look where someone else is compared to the
Yeah.
direction.
So don't stay downwind for sure.
So you're
Birds
probably
are
not
being
doing the
cooked.
How will
cliff.
it is?
Hey!
How will it is?
Are you still doing the cliff?
Let's see.
it's
Let's see
gonna
on.
be impossible, basically.
Let's see on Saturday morning what it's
Yeah,
really like.
It's like
They do tend to overestimate the danger
the
of these
way-
things.
If,
I mean,
if that
orange
is
in Dublin is
if
nothing,
that is
but I don't know
reality,
about
then it's
here.
impossible.
Huh?
Orange in Dublin is nothing, but I don't know about here.
I think it hits here first.
Here, orange is a proper weather, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, let's make a decision on Saturday morning.
City,
We'll be having breakfast.
City weather is always much milder.
Yes.
than
But it's Klaus that'll have to
coast
be
weather.
a bit more cautious in driving for the first hour and a half.
no,
Once you get to Galway, you're fine. You're on the
Yeah,
motorway.
on the main roads, yes.
Have the GPS ready because if there's ever an incident on the M50 around Dublin, he's not getting to the airport.
We can decide.
You might also pre-download the local map, the GPS.
There will be points on the M50 where you can get off the motorway and still get to the airport.
Yeah, but if you pre-download the local map, then you basically, even if you run, if
If there's a
not well
problem.
connected
Uh-huh.
in this area, you can still
Yeah.
record it. So at least until you hit the highway.
Yeah. And even on a highway, if you hit the M50 and if there's an accident,
One road you
it can just stop. And it can be stopped for an hour. It's just a single ring road.
Yeah, but I
So you've got somebody keeping an eye on the.
So that would be a problem for us, yeah.
You would miss your flight.
Yeah.
Yes. If the M50
There
is stopped.
congestion.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of trees on the M55.
Lots of trees.
Yeah.
But look, in reality,
No,
But I think Galway is so far inland, it's not going to
But
be
we
so
don't
bad
need-
there.
no, Galway's fine.
M50,
It's just that link.
This area.
We didn't use much of M50 because if we drop alley again, then
Yeah.
And then
You use about half the M50. Oh, to Finglas, yeah. Then you can go the back road to the airport. You'd be fine.
Yeah. And you will be also
In the
with us.
city,
I mean, basically,
There's not so many trees here.
a short stretch
No.
on M50
Yeah.
until
So like,
Finglas and
if-
then
Yeah, there's only two exits to go, right?
Like this, right?
And then from Finglas you can go to the airport through the back roads.
Finglas is there, M50 is
But we,
there, right?
yeah.
That's
But
my place.
I think we will go to the Havel with you.
And the airport is
Fine.
That will be
Okay,
the
so this
sightseeing
is
part of
not-
the trip.
It'll be quite disappointing
Extra.
Yeah,
because the
no,
kitchen
no.
isn't finished, the bathroom isn't finished, the water isn't on.
Yeah. We can do a little bit of work if you want. Some tiling,
Damn it, I should have ordered a skip in advance.
you get the toilet installed.
The toilet is there, he just hasn't turned on the water.
Yeah.
I don't know where to turn it on. If you can find the water, we can use the
turn it
toilet. Yeah,
Well, we can bring water now.
we have plenty of water.
Right? I mean, you
Well,
can- you
I've
can
never-
flush with the water.
Yeah.
Yes,
I suppose the workshop is done.
That's what you do when
Workshop's done.
Have you watched a movie?
Let's watch a movie.
So on your laptop?
Is there something?
I would like to watch Elephant's Dream.
many stretches
Right.
of it.
But there's another one, right?
Duck and cover.
Yeah, there is also the, what's it called?
Which one is this one here?